Okay, the next item on our agenda is superintendent's recommendations and reports. Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Birding. At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Martin to cover the items listed under Personnel Professional.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Birding and members of the board, I have several items for you this evening under Personnel Professional. Item number 1, unpaid leaves of absence, letters A and B. Item number 2, employment, letters A through C. And I do want to draw your attention to 2 of those. One, the Central Assistant Principal, Kareem Sanders, will be joining us, so we're excited about that. And also Brittany Tudor will be at West Elementary as the Assistant Principal. So we welcome her. Extracurriculars, letter D, for the current school year. Letter E, elementary summer school tutors. Letter F, credit recovery or credit flexibility instructor. And letter G, substitute teachers for the current school year. That concludes the items I have for your consideration this evening under Personnel Professional.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. At this time, I will entertain a motion to accept the recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions from the board? Mrs. Lane, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hare?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Neill?
Yes.
Mrs. Shorter?
Yes.
Mr. Begley?
Yes.
Mr. Birding?
Yes, motion passes.
Welcome, Brittany.
Yeah, welcome. Great to have you. Okay, Mr. Smith?
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Penny to cover the items listed under Personnel Support.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Birding, members of the board, I have the following items for your consideration this evening under personnel support. Under item number 1, resignations, letters A and B. This concludes the items I have for you this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept the recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, Mrs. Lane, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hare?
Yes.
Mrs. Shorter?
Yes.
Mr. Begley?
Yes.
Mr. Birding?
Yes,
Mrs. O'Neill?
Yes.
motion passes.